like, it was this high just a few minutes ago, and of course, you know, you punch it down, and then you divide it into 3 portions. They're the little 3 portions. So that's what I did, and I'm letting it rest. So I don't know what time it's been, but it's been probably 5 minutes. And then we're gonna get some people to help roll it out, and how many of you really, really want to learn how to make cinnamon rolls so you can make them for yourself? Or how many of you already made it and you just want to maybe get a little bit more learning?
Like yours than ours.
Make them more like yours.
We all know how to make them.
I don't know how to make them. But
Okay, how many of you are here like Christy Bigelow, just is here?
I'm just
but
here
wants
to eat
people
'em.
Make them for her. Doesn't really want to learn.
I'll make them for you.
Karen raises her hand.
we're together.
I appreciate the honesty. No, it's fun. It's fun. Cinnamon rolls. It's everybody is so impressed with bread making for some reason. You know, you can make somebody a cookie. Oh, thanks. So make you a bread. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So anyway, so it's kind of fun, you know, when you just get familiar with it. But like anything else, it just takes practice. Okay. I was thinking back today, the first time I made rolls. You know, my mother-in-law. I'll just give you a quick, history. We got a little time here. She made really good rolls. And I never thought I'd make rolls like her, I never thought that. I just thought, oh, I'll enjoy my mother-in-law's rolls, and stuff. And but one year for Thanksgiving, we weren't going to their house. We were going with my family, my side of the family. And I'm like, boy, your rolls would really taste good with our Thanksgiving dinner. And she goes, well, why don't you make some? I'm like, she goes, I'll help you, So she helped me with the dough and told me what to do the next day. And they turned out pretty good. But that was with, somebody kind of helping me and guiding me, and that makes a difference, right? When you have someone right there who knows what they're doing. But anyway, but I remember the first time I made them all my own. I was in the Relief Society, and we were having a dinner, and I was really scared, but then I just said, okay, I'll make the rolls, My hands won't really go there, but, I volunteered, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I volunteered to make the rolls. I was like, they turned out really bad, but I did, and they turned out okay. They weren't wonderfully beautiful, perfect rolls, but they were okay. And I remember one sister said she enjoyed them. That's all it took, one compliment. I thought, someone liked them, So anyway, and then I just continued trying to make them, and then after, a few times, I started getting, better and better, and now here I am teaching you. So I'm very flattered and humbled. I really am. It's a fun thing. How many of you have made rolls before? Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls.
Okay, so most of you have. What's your biggest problem, or what don't you like about them?
They're not yours.
No. I mean, do they not grow tall?
Mine are heavy. Like, I want to make them fluffier.
They want. Okay.
Actually,
all right,
mine
good.
are too light.
And yours are too light.
They get,
Really?
because
They're not firm enough.
right. There's a different. Yours are a little. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, well, I think a lot of that has to do with, sometimes the recipe. The roll recipe I have there, I didn't really think that was a good cinnamon roll recipe, because I have my roll recipe at the top of the paper, if you want to look at it. And then, then it goes into the cinnamon roll, how to make that. But I thought this was too light, too, because it seemed to me cinnamon roll is more of a heavy, dense dough type thing. But I started just using this dough recipe, and everybody seems to like them, and it seems to work out. But the heaviness, I think, has to do with the flour. And I'm not an expert, but it really, I think it does have to do with more flour. If you want really light and fluffy rolls, you want to keep them, not as much flour. Keep them, the dough would be stickier, when you go to roll them and this type of thing. And with these, actually, when I make just my dinner rolls, I like them a lot more lighter and fluffier. And as I was making these, I wasn't as concerned about the flour as much, because I thought, well, if they're a little bit heavier, they're cinnamon rolls, because it's okay. Cinnamon rolls are going to be carrying the frosting, and it's okay to make them a little bit heavier and thicker and denser, I think. So I've taken one of the portions. I'm just going to roll it into a rectangle. So I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you've all washed your hands or what you want to do, but I kind of want you to feel what the dough feels like, just so you can get an idea.
So
if
how
you
much dough are those 3 making? I mean,
I figured this recipe makes about 3 dozen. Probably each one of these will make about 12 cinnamon rolls, depending on how big you want them.
okay.
Okay? So we're just going to roll And this is my favorite little rolling pin. I don't even know where it came from, and it's not my big one. I don't like my big one for some reason. It's kind of bent too, that's probably why. But, so I'm just gonna kind of shape this into a nice big rectangle, about, what did I put, about a ½ an inch thick or so. So give me a second. And then, I've already melted some butter, and, I might, oh well, doesn't really matter. So, it's kind of getting thick. Oh well.
Want me to microwave it?
Yeah, just a few minutes. All my cinnamon rolls are on top of that microwave. Okay, hey, just about 10 seconds. Thank you.
It's not the secret to the
Cool. All right. I might have not rolled this out thick enough, but oh well. Or thin enough. And you know what? I found, I don't know about those of you who've made cinnamon rolls before, but when the butter's really thin, I like it kind of semi-thick, so it's not as runny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can get just kind of like a thicker, I'm gonna use this old cinnamon shaker. Okay, and so then I just spread butter, and then I'm just gonna spread a generous coat of cinnamon. And everybody knows how to make cinnamon, right? I don't want to make them feel stupid, but then again, if you don't know,
Is that cinnamon and it looks like white sugar, not brown sugar.
it's just cinnamon. I just added cinnamon to white sugar.
It's white sugar, yeah. You don't use brown sugar.
You don't use brown sugar?
No, I don't. I use white sugar
White
mixed
sugar
with
with lots of
cinnamon.
cinnamon.
But you know,
Yeah,
some
white
people.
sugar and cinnamon mix.
Oh, my
Yeah,
mother-in-law does brown sugar.
I do the same thing, I just load it.
Okay, let me just tell you, this is what I do, but there are so many other yummy ways to make cinnamon rolls. I know people put brown sugar, people add nuts, people add raisins. I don't like cooked raisins. Oh, I never have. I'm sorry. I don't put them in. And my husband does, and I'm a mean wife. I don't
What's
put
your-
them in there.
What's your
Ruin 'em.
proportion?
Huh?
What's your proportion?
She doesn't know.
Do you see what I'm doing here?
I just want.
Is there a proportion going on here? No.
Sorry, that's the math
I'm
person in
guessing
me.
maybe about 2 cups.
Yeah.
So you're
It says approximately 2 cups.
Oh,
So-
does it say it on here?
Did I write
Maybe I
that? Oh,
should
I'm
read.
impressed. I must have been really thinking.
Well, no,
Okay.
approximately 2 cups cinnamon sugar. I just want to know how much cinnamon sugar.
Okay, so this is kind of what it
It
looks like.
that. You stir
You
it.
guys see it? Okay, and then I'm just gonna roll it long side. Okay, you wanna kinda get all the edges tucked and as you go down. And I kinda have this a little thick, I don't know why, but I do, but that's okay. It'll still taste fine. You'll just make more if you roll it up thinner, but you don't wanna go too thin and you don't wanna go too thick, but. So, and then as you pull it over, you wanna just pinch it to the other side to, seal it, seal the deal. And, anyway, you just get it to stick.
Carolyn, is there anybody else in your house who makes cinnamon rolls?
No.
She had boys.
Martha's,
Martha.
Martha's helped me, and even Audrey was helping me today, and I was really impressed. How many of you you use the, oh, I thought I had a piece of thread over here, but I'll get it. You use the thread method?
Yeah.
How many of you do that?
I do dental floss.
Okay, yeah, dental floss works, and then of course you can use a knife. But I just read about this one time, and I decided that, yeah, it seems to cut it cleaner. You just cross over and then pull the thread through, and it makes a nice, clean slice. Oh, there's my
I
thread.
didn't do that, so that's pretty good, see?
So I'm just gonna
I've heard about it, but I never did it.
spray just a baking sheet. Woo! This is new spray. I got it Smart Final today. And of course, I was just almost out of my pan spray. I'm like, just my luck. Anyway, so and then you just place them on the sheet. So
Anything else good at Smart and Final that works today?
nothing really that great.
So you just use spray?
Huh?
You just use spray?
Yeah. Now see this I added too much butter. See how messy that got? I don't really want that messy, but.
Oh, but it tastes
That doesn't spoil the taste.
I got a little carried away with the butter. So anyway, so you just go on down and then place them on the cookie sheet. And you want to space them a little, far apart because they're going to rise a little bit. And that's it. So guess what? Okay, you're going to come help me. Who wants to come help? To instant yeast.
In the freezer.
Yep, I got it in
Okay.
my freezer. Yeah.
Okay.
Instant
If you haven't
noodles.
used, you have it now too, right, Lorraine?
No,
You haven't used
I
it
just
yet?
used yours, and then I
Oh.
just used the regular.
Regular?
I haven't gotten that one yet.
Okay, well, I just have used this for years, and the only place I know right now, you used to get it from the Bosch store, but is Smart and Final. So
Oh, Smart
Hiram
and
and I
Final
took a
does
little
have
trip
that.
to Smart and Final because I was out of it. I had some in my refrigerator. I keep, where is it?
Do you keep it in your refrigerator or your freezer?
I keep it in my refrigerator, and I just keep it like, you know, in this little
Yeah, I keep
container in
mine
my
in the
refrigerator with like a little tablespoon stuck in there. And I find that when it doesn't ever, I've never had a problem with it going bad. You know what I mean? Then again, I might use it more than other people or whatever. I don't know. But one thing my mother-in-law taught me, which I think is a good idea, if you keep it in your refrigerator or your freezer, when you take it out to warm it up, do you guys warm yours? When you've used it out of the freezer? You just pop in the microwave on your lowest defrost for the short period of time. Just warm it up because it's cold. Anyway, warming the yeast I think helps because yeast, of course, most people know it likes the warmth. And that's what I was telling Vanny. I like to let my rolls rise in a warm area on top of my stove. I noticed though at my stove here at the house that we live in now, that opposed to my stove where we used to live years ago, it gets really hot on top and it's almost like cooks them. So you don't want to put it where it's too hot, but just where it's warm and they rise quicker and they're happier. And you know, in Arizona it's easy too. I put them in my window, in my kitchen, you know, because the warmth comes in. So there's those benefits too. So
How do you warm your yeast?
so I just this is what I do. I said, good question. I love good questions. I'm going to clean up this mess here because we don't need this mess, but we'll do that in a second. All right, I just measure out what I need. And the next batch, we're going to make an overnight batch because I want to send some home with some of you eager beavers who want to make rolls tomorrow morning. Because I put on the recipe that if you add another tablespoon of yeast, you can put it in the refrigerator and it should be fine overnight. And then you can roll it out in the morning, okay? So I forgot my little, I just use a little Tupperware bowl, you know, a little plastic bowl, but I forgot it. So I'm just going to use this cup, and I just pop it in the microwave just for a few seconds, like 20 seconds or something on defrost. So I just warmed up the yeast because we're going to make a batch now too. We're going to make it from scratch, well, you know, from the beginning, where you add the liquid to the flour and whatnot. All right, you just get a regular or Carolyn. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
Carolyn, I have a question for you. Your
Yeah.
favorite rolls, is this make regular rolls
Yeah.
as well as cinnamon rolls?
Yes. No, it does. The first part of the recipe is just my rolls, and it tells you what I do when I make like the dinner rolls. And then this recipe tells you where to stop up here, and then you roll it to the cinnamon roll. So it's really easy. You know, if you just get the basic roll recipe down. So I'm just gonna add some milk. What does it say?
2 3/4.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I usually do about 3 cups, so you can do whatever you want. So, and you know what? It really doesn't, the milk doesn't really, it's not, you don't have to be that precise.
do it.
Sometimes I think, if I say, I need to make a bigger, I want a little bit more dough, I might add a little bit more milk. And there's so much sugar and eggs and butter in this recipe, it's really not gonna make a lot of difference. You're just gonna probably have to add a little bit more flour at the end, you know what I'm saying? I don't wanna scare you or confuse you, but that's kind of the way it is. Okay, and then a cup of sugar. Oh, here's my cup. All right.
That had the cinnamon sugar in there.
Don't have time for this. I don't think I wrote this in my recipe, but it's nice when you, this butter's really soft because I had it in my box, but if you cut up your butter, it just kind of melts faster and it kind of speeds up the process of heating up your milk. So I just kind of cut it into the milk mixture. Okay, so this is just a cup of butter, which is or when I say butter, I'm really usually talking margarine. I find with these rolls, it doesn't matter what kind of milk you use. It can be 1%, 2% skim, whole milk. I've never really noticed a difference. And butter, just you know, if you have the butter you get at Costco that's soft, or if you have, you know, stick
margarine
butter
or
or
And
real
if you're
butter.
really-
Famous finger test here. And it's pretty hot, so I'm going to